What's up, y'all? It's July 31st, 2025. This is just going to be a quick tutorial for anyone who wants to know how to block ads on YouTube without a premium subscription on desktop or mobile and bypass print media firewalls without a subscription. Everyone will have to work through the ethics of this stuff themselves, but if you are not on board with Western corporate media's recent push to have you subscribe to everything and like it, which is really what they mean when they say you're going to own nothing and be happy. It's just at that point, your fridge and your washer dryer and your car and probably your civil rights are all going to require a subscription service as well. So if you're just okay with it, or if you don't have $15 a month for YouTube Premium or $75 a month for the Financial Times, then this is how you can still bypass the ads on YouTube and the firewalls for a lot of the corporate online corporate print media out there these days. It's mostly about the paywalls. I keep saying firewalls, I mean paywalls, because there's been some recent developments on that front, but we're going to just quickly cover YouTube ads since in this video, since it's sort of a related subject. Some of y'all may be aware of Google's increasingly desperate efforts the last few years to block ad blockers on YouTube and force everyone into a premium subscription. As I understand it, they may have actually pulled the extension I'm going to recommend here, uBlock Origin, and some other of the good ad blockers from the Chrome store. I'm not sure if that's still the case. If it is, there's probably a way to find those extensions and sideload them into Chrome or a Chrome fork. But I'm going to go ahead and cover Firefox here since that's what I use. For the moment, uBlock is still up in the Mozilla AMO store. You can download it directly from Mozilla servers. Won't surprise me at all if that changes in the future, but for now, you can get uBlock. That's the one I like. It's just going to put this little shield up here in the upper right corner of your browser. If it's ever blocking something on a site, it blocks trackers and certain all types of stuff other than YouTube ads. So if it's ever a site that you trust and need to use and need to work is not working with this, just come up here, toggle it off, reload the page. When you're done, toggle it back on and you're good to go. So yeah, uBlock is what I recommend for desktop YouTube ad blocking, at least on Firefox. For mobile, highly recommend, at least for this purpose, this Brave browser. It's a privacy-focused browser. I wish they didn't make you create an account to use it, but you only have to do it once. And it does block YouTube ads by default. And additionally, it will allow you to turn your screen off and put your phone in your pocket. If you want to listen to some long-form content like a podcast, audio only while you're at work or whatnot, this does that by default. So that's YouTube. Again, just real quick, just in case any of you are having trouble blocking YouTube ads these days. What I really wanted to talk about today is getting around these firewalls for online print media. Now, FT has always had a relatively robust one, but a lot of corporate news sites recently have been getting more serious about their firewalls and have stopped using these fake ones that you can bypass just by toggling JavaScript off in your browser and reloading the page, or putting your browser in read mode as the page loads. What that's really done is begin to set up the same type of development arms race between these corporate actors that want to make their paywalls more robust and the guys who have developed these bypass tools that a lot of people have been using for years. Now, I would say that one key difference relative to YouTube there is if YouTube does stuff like start banning people and blocking IPs for trying to use ad blockers, that sort of defeats the whole point from their perspective, because they want you on the site either way. They'd rather you pay for it with ads, but they want you, or premium, but they want you there either way. I'm not sure the same thing is true of these paywalls. I think a lot of these corporate publishers don't care if you're looking at their site at all, if they're not getting any revenue from it. And again, I think while they do sell some ad space, I guess, I'm not even sure about that. I'm not sure that they care in the same way about just banning your IP or your IP range if you keep bypassing their firewalls. So I don't know how that dynamic will play out with the firewalls, but one thing that it's led to already is that they have successfully been able to get all of the good English language firewall bypass sites like 12-foot ladder, at least that I'm aware of, pulled down, as well as the best firewall bypass extensions have been pulled from the official app stores. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get one of those extensions that's been re-uploaded by the developer elsewhere and install it manually in Firefox, which is really simple. It's just a couple clicks. As I understand it, this mad lad who develops this extension, Magnolia1234, has actually been banned from GitHub over this. The page for this project is still up, but you cannot download this from GitHub anymore. So fortunately, he's been gracious enough to re-upload it to GitFlick, which is just a Russian language GitHub type service. And it's all very well translated with simple instructions. I know this looks like a lot to somebody who's not used to this kind of stuff. It really is just a couple clicks to get it working. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So don't be intimidated by all this documentation. It's really just for people who want to add custom sites or more advanced users who want to, understand how it works a little better. All you need to do to get to one of these pages, again, this is the one for Chrome. I'm going to use Firefox. Search for Paywall, Bypass, Clean, Firefox or Chrome, GitFlick. That should bring up this page. As you can see, like I say, there's still several GitHub pages or very similar sounding GitHub pages that I suspect are just to pull traffic away from this site. But that's the one you want, GitFlick. All you need to do, go to this first link in the installation text here, click on that. That's going to take you over to the download page. You see there are Chrome and Firefox versions. I'm going to go ahead and use the Firefox latest version, which I've already downloaded. So to sideload an extension in Firefox, all you need to do is drag it over to any open Firefox window. That's going to bring up this little permission dialog. I'll explain more about this master list of the news domains that it's pre-configured to bypass the firewalls for in just a moment after we install it. But unless you're looking at news articles in private windows on a regular basis, you can just leave that unchecked. That's going to bring up the configuration page for it. And as you can see, we've gone ahead and installed it to Firefox here. Really not much you need to do at all. In fact, you can leave this all untouched and it will work fine. There are some opt-in toggles here if you want to add your own custom sites or have it try and bypass the paywall, any paywall you encounter online, even if it's not in that master list of 924 news domains, you can turn that on. I'm going to leave this on because I don't mind letting it check for updates. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is sort of a development arms race dynamic where there will almost certainly be adjustments that these paywall developers make that require adjustments on this end. So I don't have any problem letting it check for an update when it runs. Apparently now there are some firewalls that will require it to be able to set a cookie in order for it to work. It's not the malicious type of cookie, so I would have no problem toggling that on if I encountered one of those sites, but as of now, I have not. And guys, for anybody that's worried about security or that, is Russian GitHub seems sketchy to you, basically what he's done here by creating this master list of 924 news domains is he's allowed himself to perform the function that this is performing without asking for any potentially malicious permissions. This is only looking at your site data for this list of 924 sites. You can opt it on if you want it to see if it'll work outside this list. You can opt into that, but by default, it's only asking for site data on these on the 924 sites that match this list and nothing else. There's really not any. Unless you're worried about somebody knowing what news articles you read, there's not really any potentially malicious behavior there. And of course, if you wanted to, you could go through and uncheck all these except the ones that you actually use on a regular basis. So he's actually done quite a bit of extra work and gone out of his way to be able to do this with clean permissions. That's probably where the name comes from. So, I don't think there's potential for anything malicious going on here, but use your own judgment. So again, I'm just going to let it check for updated rules when it starts, save that. And now as you see, if we come over here, if you really don't have $75 to understand why he can't stop cleaning dirt off fake objects, see the full text that way. And if we go back, toggle extension off, and we're back on the firewall. One caveat here, I don't really like the current leadership at Mozilla, and it would not surprise me if at some point they bow to corporate interests and pull uBlock origin off the App Store like they have with the bypass clean firewalls, and or make it an opt-in you have to toggle in about.config, or even make it impossible to sideload extensions in the non-development version of the browser. And they'll say, oh, well, it's for user protection and so forth. But because Mozilla is an open source project, if that ever does happen, the most likely result is just a large exodus of their user base to one of the several actively developed Mozilla-based forked browser projects, or ones that are just using their rendering engine. So it's not quite the same situation as with the YouTube. It's possible that at some point you could start needing to use a VPN in conjunction with a tool like this to prevent them from just, blocking your IP. Again, we're talking about the print media sites here, if they've noticed that you're using a firewall bypass tool. But for right now, this works. I hope this helps somebody, and y'all take it easy.